Hi, my name is Cassandra Bright, and I'm just got off a podcast with Gary Vaynerchuk. And as some of you know, if you watch my content, you know that I'm organic. I don't play an inauthentic character or role on here. I like to be myself. I like to have conversations with people. And this is a conversation that I don't particularly want to have, but I'm going to be having it with you anyways. Just a little bit about my social background and where I grew up, people around me, and just my life. I was born in California near the Mexican border called El Centro, and I moved to Stockton, California. So I want you to be aware of the geographic nature of my growing up was in and around the Hispanic culture. My best friends, when I was living in one of the houses in Stockton, I don't remember the address, were two little black boys that lived next door. We did snail patrol, which I still feel bad about. My mom's born and raised in California. My dad's a New Yorker. When I was 9 years old, I moved to Georgia, where I was raised. That's why you don't hear a lot of that Southern accent, meaning I'm cultured. Me and my family never had any concerns around race. And we always were friends with, like, my girlfriends in elementary school were named Keisha and Camille. My first crush was on a little boy named Ricky Luna. My neighbor used to say the N-word, a white lady. And I'd be like, that is not, you shouldn't say that. I once felt bad for a girl in my class, and I had this sticker that said Bright, when my last name is Bright. She said, "Can I have that?" I said, "Yeah." And then I lied and said she took it. I'm not sure why I said that. I still feel bad about that to this day too. I could have said no. She was really nice. Moving forward, I gotta think. Working at my first job, friends with a Black American who worked out, and I was inspired by his physical fitness. I even went over to the gym where he worked to get educated. Then, he was a pervert though. Then I worked at another restaurant where I was friends with Clark, who taught me things about never eat a raccoon without its feet because you might eat a dog. And I said, okay. I never eat raccoon, I never eat dogs. But he was hysterical and I loved him. And he also used Raid on his private parts when he caught crabs. My point is I'm gonna keep going too, by the way. You wanna know the personality communication between a person to person. No significance. However, the significance has become way too significant. Moving forward into my years working at Sea Island, I became the idea of a slave. The idea of a slave. However, I didn't think I was a slave. I wore a maid's outfit, the black dress with the white apron. I loved it. I thought I looked cute in it. Waiting tables, I loved it. Waiting on white people. Hanging out with a bunch of Black Americans. Really hard workers too. I always thought we were super successful. Perspective. Met my Mexican, 100% Mexican husband at that location. Married a Mexican. Loved the culture. They like weird music and orange. So I had a Mexican wedding. And it was super fun. With a individual who was a psycho who was our caterer. Also Mexican. Then I went to do spiritual and evaluation work. However, I forgot about my favorite, most inspiring teacher, who was a Black American, who got me to begin being concerned about health and fitness, my PE coach, Black American. Favorite 8th grade teacher, Black American. They did the work though. They did the work. They held themselves in high regard. They didn't listen to the noise that the politicians known as Democrats tried to portray, which is the mind machine manipulation of what they're trying to create for you. And then the opposite end of that is you don't cooperate. There's a lot of pieces in this conversation trying to hold on to the past when we're here now. Looking around, you have an opportunity to go to college. You have an opportunity to get a job. No one's holding you back. However, their mentality now has become jump to success. However, they don't do any work. The problem with that is that the Black Americans who do the work get left behind and abused also. Because this Black Lives Matter community is not just Black people, it's actually ran by white. Another attempt to see that the tipping point of us wanting to work together is here. Meaning we love each other. Don't let me get started on my favorite landmark farm leader. Or the one, there's got to be one more. Yes, 2 gentlemen in my advanced course, Black Americans, one a coach in California, one a tall gentleman, inspired me the most. Black men. Me confused on how that we view Black men in this light when these men are right here. Fabulous. That's a mind manipulation of media. Fuels the reincarnated slave owners, the ghetto, to cause an uprising to where we are in the same situation we were back then. Don't let me forget about my patients. And I got a lot of them. Focusing on the Black Americans, one of which he was a principal who taught me about citizenship. God, family, community. Why don't they teach citizenship in school any longer? Because they don't really care about God, family, or community. So we talked for an hour. A political system fueling riots and mind manipulating games to cause destruction in a nation that has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with one person's political power. That would be Obama. Blaming race on every single thing. Maybe you should take a look at yourselves. Very bestest friend in the whole entire world. Guess what? She's Black American. Salt and pepper, we call ourselves. Attempting to put a wedge in our relationship too. It's a complicated web of uncomplicating things. I told a story this morning to the kids on 2 different plantations. one of which is here, where the Africans came over on the boat looking for a better life, which was the manipulation. Because in Africa, they're still struggling. However, you Black Americans ain't looking over there to help, although you calling yourselves African American. However, they still struggling over there. You don't care. You want that paycheck from here somehow, although you have the opportunity to create it, but you want it handed to you for something that never even happened to you when you were the ones responsible for it. Now, some of you are always going to be Black American because that is attractive and awesome. However, they're telling you it's not, and I'm not sure how that even works in your brain and your own mentality. They're still stealing from you. They're not assisting in the areas that need to be assisted. And you take refuge from them as if they're going to protect you, but I can assure you what they're attempting to do is to fuel the minds of war. While you made yourselves up to buy your own houses, living great lives, learning how to live where you have clean yards, you have grass, you actually care. No longer disempowered with the old ideas, because DNA evolution is real of like the disempowerment field. But you have to do work to move the energy personally. Meaning you can watch Will Smith, who is considered white because he acts white. He acts professional. Social norms, not color related, by the way. However, you all segregate us from your churches, from your schools, from your organizations by placing the word Black and brown in front. However, you're the ones that are responsible. Have you ever thought maybe you need to open that door up to seeing how they do it versus creating your own thing? Because that's why you are the way you are. Not open to education, didn't study in class. Did not do the work. Collective consciousness fueled by your own race. Killing each other. Attempting to protect yourselves from each other. The lack of parenting, like you don't know how to do it, that's for sure. Most people don't know how to do it at this time. However, there's a communication disconnect is really what's going on here on how to get to that. How do you get to that? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's your personal way of being. How do you get the meeting with the white guy? It's your professional way of being. And then let's talk racism for a second. Racism, currently as it's being described, is judgment. They followed me around the store based on fear on the riots, based on your ghetto attitude, based on your energy, and you stole anyway. So law and order exits. You judge white people, however, that's not racist. So really the idea of racism at this time currently is all judgment. However, you like to place that toxic word racism upon it as a violent act, when you can't even take responsibility for your own actions, your own personality, your lack of friendliness, and your racism, because you ain't nice to white people. Nor would you ever stick up for one either. However, you're going to run right out there and vote for the biggest loser on the planet, who not only is going to steal your money, she will definitely leave you behind, that's for sure. I can guarantee you our educational system will continue to decrease while your pocketbooks continue to decrease. It ain't a black or white thing. It's an integrity concern. It's a morality concern. It's a corruption thing. Herschel is black. However, they're portraying him as not black. Your own ex-president, who's a Taliban leader, who you claim you love, calls him out, telling him he's an entertainer. However, he's a football star. That means he has the ability to lead a team. He has structure around what it's like to advance in offense and defense. He ain't afraid to be in front of a crowd. Let's dissect a football player on what a football player does on the team and what his role was on the team. Your own ex-president, who's a Taliban leader, Obama, tells us that when you see him, he's going to entertain you. However, that's what Obama's up to. And we also need Warnock, by the way. However, Warnock is flailing. His job is going to entail utilizing his talent to assist the elderly, as Sandra abused the elderly. The boomers. Steal from the old, give to the young. New way of living. Then it becomes steal from the young, give to the old. Millennial generation. The 8th grade trophy. Because the millennial generations ain't ever experienced no racism. They are racist. They're the ones who were catered to, calling it racism when they're just plain sorry. The older generation, there is some incompletes that need to be completed. And the millennial generation is stealing from those people. And abusing those people. And some of those boomers, too, are just plain evil. It's a personality, it's a way of being, it's a lack of care, it's a demon activity. Y'all a bunch of bullies, Black Lives Matter. You even supporting a criminal named George Floyd. No, Ahmaud Arbery is the victim. But guess what on that one? Black Lives Matter fueled that one. Coming all up in here in this town. Not recreating a culture of Southern hospitality, but instead a Washington, D.C. bull crap. Fueling the minds of fear for all people who are from here. To the point where a Black Lives Matter member named Ahmaud Arbery innocently goes running, looks through a house, and then violently ran down based on mind manipulation. No excuse. Yet George Floyd is the hero, the martyr, when he's a rapist and a liar and a psychopath who was on drugs. And that's your leader? How embarrassing can you be? And that's what you're going to go down in history as being represented by? How embarrassing can you be to sit at that desk with your fat behind weighing 400 pounds, barely able to walk? Who the heck do you think made you gain all that weight? Meanwhile, you abusing the kids that walk through the door, unless they your color. Not to mention the staff that ain't your color. While you act as if you own the place. And that's Black Lives Matter. Thinking you can come all up in here and try to do that mind game they play on me. Yeah, right. All coming up in there acting, you're going down to the courthouse to watch the sentencing of those racists. When the racist is looking right back in your face. As they pay for your house, give you a little stipend to be on their side for a short period of time, and then you left making $12 per hour at some shitty ass job that's miserable, and before you know it, you right back in the same spot, no education, can't pay your bills, and that car won't even work. And that's your Black Lives Matter, while those trio of lesbians sit up in their $1 million mansion. Black Lives Matter. However, you can't have a real conversation about fixing some concerns that you might have. You act like a fool and you riot down the streets looking like idiots. That's why you on the bottom, showing up in a millionaire's row location, abusing your patrons who pay your salary because you think you should be sitting at that table. However, you never went to college. You never did nothing except take money from the Black Lives Matter to bust you down to this town and go spy on millionaire people who are extremely friendly. Well, that's really honorable. You should be really proud of yourselves, Black Lives Matter, for what you've done to the nation as you support the future Holocaust. And then you wonder if you're going to even take responsibility for your role. Your fast-paced, money-taking, I'm going to buy a new car. Oh, really? Where are you going to get the car? Where are you going to get the car? Where are you going to get the money to make the payments? Because all they gave you was the down payment and maybe 6 months. Oh, but we got money coming in regularly from the government, billions of dollars. However, you don't even have a job, but you're on welfare and you're popping those kids out left and right while you're abusing the man. Telling him he ain't no good daddy, but the real reason is because you a terrible woman and he can't stand you, so he stays away. The new age black man. However, you're not willing to take a look at any of your concerns as a social aspect. You just play victim constantly. Constantly the victim, the victim, the victim. Oh, really, Whoopi Goldberg, you're the victim? You making millions of dollars spewing dumb crap all over the internet and you're the victim? Instead of teaching people how to empower themselves, to evolve society into working together, all you can do is scream out Black Lives Matter. Okay, well, so does my life. Democratic Party, vote for me, you'll get free money. The white people are going to pay for everything. Meanwhile, the ones who worked for it which was kind of entertaining for themselves, meaning they enjoyed the work. I'm so proud of myself. I got my degree. I'm a doctor. No, a real one. I don't have to lie to anybody because I did it with integrity. I love myself. I've got a great partner. I've got great kids. We're working so hard. I love working. I love going to work. I mean, I used to love going to work until the millennials showed up into the workspace. Blaming the older generation on a toxic work environment? Yeah, I don't think so. You want to take a look at the real people who are responsible for the toxic work environment? That would be the millennials. They can't take constructive criticism, also known as feedback. They think they know it all when they know nothing. They have no talent. They're frauds, they're fakes, and they're bullies. And they think that because they have 300,000 followers on TikTok, that makes them special. Keep telling yourself that lie. Another one's responsible for Black Lives Matter. You do really want to get that the millennial generation is the main problem here. From chanting abort your child versus use a condom. My body, my choice. If you're out there saying my body, my choice, you're just crazy. It's another tactic for them to get you onto the streets and cause emotional distress amongst the masses, and you're proud of it. Why do I have so much anxiety? Oh, it's me. Gimme, 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 gimme. That is the millennial generation. Yet no one says anything. All incorporated into Black Lives Matter. All racism is judgment. However, you cannot evolve yourself into strength, nor do they teach you. They say, I'm the victim. And that is your complete, utter, ultimate problem, is you think you're victims when you're not. You're not willing to do the right thing. You always do the wrong thing, and Black Lives Matter is the wrong thing. We have equal opportunity here in this country. Consider that you not getting that job that was meant to happen to you so you could get that job. Consider you not getting that job as you didn't work for it. Consider that the media is responsible. That means your Democratic Party is responsible. Consider there's a bigger problem here than you being Black. The fact that you are ashamed that you're Black? You're ashamed? Really? Are you being serious? I mean, who created that idea in your mind? I mean, I love being tan. Oh, caution. It's not the same. Oh, really? Because when I look at Obama, he looks tan. However you call him Black. It's culture judgments, it's judgment, it's lack of self-awareness, it's individualistic to who the person is. It's not a normal way of acting. So once again, just like trans, we're in the same situation with Black Lives Matter. One instance, Ahmaud Arbery, based on a Washington, D.C. bullcrap nonsense that came to our hometown, so we were fearful. So who's ultimately responsible for Ahmaud Arbery's death? That would be the Democratic Party. I mean, it's almost like you guys think that we're like endless amounts of cash that are going to the wrong places. While people are pooping on the streets, you want to buy a new car. You want free college. Who's responsible? The millennial generation. The youth will not lead in the millennial generation. I can guarantee you that. You have no clue. They are the Obama educated system, and that is what it looks like. Isn't it interesting how I am so intelligent based on my educational system? However, I did not. What was I going to say? Somebody interrupted the frequency. I did not take tests every day of my life. I was on the internet as it grew, meaning there was some underlining secret stuff that they weren't telling you, and I wasn't even paying attention to it. And I was bullied on the internet too, by the way, many times. However, you don't see me running around asking for a handout. You saw me taking responsibility for my own self and moving forward. However, this millennial generation has nothing but bully mentality, and they utilize the internet as a weapon. It's very evident in our discussion when we talk and watch all celebrities and their relationships, as in husband and wife, dating. No one gives two craps if you're pregnant again, Bahati. Who's the father? Where did you put the sperm, Adam? We know darn well you all cannot stand each other. We know darn well that Kim Kardashian, an Armenian, you want to take a look at culture as racism, meaning Iran, Armenia, coming into this country and attempting to dismantle our culture, to create it as their culture, to make one world without culture. How boring. It's one world with no differences. Look at them all. They all look the same. Black Lives Matter. What a free country used to look like is no longer a free country, and you can thank the Democratic Party for that. You can thank the CIA for that. However, they think they can dominate me with whatever equipment they got over there, but the difference is I'm working with God. There's a story about two plantations. One's here locally, one's in Atlanta. A slave ship comes over from Africa. They tell the Africans, you will experience a better life. Get on the ship. They come over to here to the United States and land over on Jekyll Island. Slaves for sale. Workers for sale. You're going to be paying for their travel, their food, da-da-da-da-da. We got them here. They now belong to you. They're your responsibility. This one purchases their way to freedom, but they have to follow the rules of what societal norms are, because if they don't, they're going to get killed. The second group is from Atlanta. They come and they purchase the human to do their bidding and do evil stuff too, because that's your current Black Lives Matter community. You need to get up at 6 o'clock, even though you're deathly ill. If you do not get up at 6 o'clock, we will whip you to death. But I thought I was coming over here for a better life. Well, you need to talk to the black man who sold you to da-da-da-da. He was a king. But you still blame the white man. But you also blame the black man too. So basically what I'm telling you is that you're never going to heal unless you start retraining your brain into the power of now. What's the other one? Positive mental attitude. Because the negative mental attitude is fueling you into your own destruction and demise. And I'm talking about the ones who are in Black Lives Matter, who are mind manipulated. It's like throwing coins in the air and watching you all scatter for it like this. And then them sitting back and eating it like popcorn. As Obama sends out fentanyl. You do know that's a government drug, right? You do know they're giving that to the on purpose. That's how sick they are. That's because you don't think for yourselves. Looking for the quick cash. Not even considering the children that are coming behind you. Actually, you don't even really care about your children if you're a millennial, that's for sure. Ooh, I'm gonna have a baby, now I can film them. And then I'm gonna mock them and make them feel ugly and make them feel stupid and make them feel unloved. And that's the millennial parent, not to mention the older parent. It's just parenting at this time. However, you're not even willing to take responsibility on that either. So you can go out into the workforce and abuse each other, and then you older generation just not say anything. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you do say something like I have in the past, guess where you end up? Jobless. Jobless. That's because the millennials are destroying the planet. Fueling riots in countries they don't even live, creating and attempting to create world war as they sit on their thrones and say, I'm so proud, women's rights. Oh, don't let me forget about the women who's actually behind all of it. Women's rights. We got plenty of rights. You just don't know how to be a woman. Ooh, all these words coming in. Ooh. You better get real intelligent on the frequency that you hoes are on. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I have not met a female outside of my circle that I'm even interested in hanging out with. You all up to something nasty, gnarly, and toxic as hell. And these men ain't gonna put up with it. You use your vagina to fuel your business. So you better straighten up. Your wombs will be empty. Well, I don't care. Oh, you just wait. 43 years old? Wait till you see the shift in your life when you don't fulfill your purpose, one of which is to carry a child. Dead inside. And that's for the evil. Anything else, God? Oh, this means war? Okay, we'll see about that. Because the one thing that holds you up into what you think is success is the man standing on your side. And I can guarantee you that they are sick and tired of it. They're sick and tired of your lack of intelligence. They're sick and tired of your mean attitude. They're sick and tired of your lame self in the bedroom. They're sick and tired of your hair, makeup, and your nasty clothing. They're sick and tired of even looking at your face. They're sick and tired of you bullying them. And the truth is that the wool has been removed from their eyes and they can see the truth on everything. Your yoga pants and your bras are not going to seduce them any longer. Looks will only take you so far. And obviously with the example of Monavan, we know that it doesn't take her far at all, because all I can do is call her out constantly on complete lies. Everything that is going on over there is a complete lie. As a model and an example for the rest of them, including celebrity Hollywood, all the way from the people on The View, to the politicians, to the rest of the social media influencers, including your dearly beloved Charli D'Amelio. Whoa. I can guarantee you that girl has never even opened a book, as she pretends to be my friend.